Welcome back to the Big Blue Lifers podcast. I'm Mr. U. That's Jess. We're in the building talking New York Football Giants, man. We're in the off season, so you know what it is. It's not a whole lot going on. We're talking about training camp, and we're on the injury watch, and we're talking about depth charts. That's where we are, at least until the end of the week, where we start seeing some preseason stuff, and we can have a little bit more to talk about. But how you doing, brother? How's things going on in your world?
Things are going on all right. All things considered, just trying to get to Saturday here, and that way we'll have like our first real Giants football of the season, even if it is preseason.
Well, what I got to figure out, maybe you can help me out with it, because am I going to be able to watch this game? I forgot all the regional blacked out market situation. I forget about that sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I forgot that I don't have NFL Sunday ticket. I forgot that I don't have the red zone. I mean, so during the season, I'm stuck with, well, I got other options, but they're not exactly the right options. But I can watch anything I can watch anything I want. And I probably will. Just saying, I know it's not right, but I'm gonna be watching that. But as far as preseason goes, what are my options? How am I watching the Giants? Talk about this game. How am I going to see it?
I honestly don't think you really have many that are ethical, to put it lightly. But because I think it's NFL Network, and that's going to be regional. So here, hold on. Let me check the ESPN app. Like, what other games are going to be?
Yeah, I don't have the NFL app, so. I don't have the NFL app, so I can't see NFL Network schedule, what they're going to show us. It's going to be hard to find out. We're sitting here on the air Googling stuff, which is awesome for podcasting.
Yeah. So it seems like, honestly, actually, you will. It is the only game going on Saturday at 1 p.m.
Are you kidding me?
So, yeah. So if you've got
that's a shocker. That's a shocker. I do have it.
Yeah, so you should have it. Well, it seems like because this is preseason week 1, you've got 3 games on Thursday, 3 games on Friday. Then the Giants Bills is the only game going on at 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Everybody else is in the evening. Yeah,
games on Sunday.
All right. Well,
week 2 will be a different beast. Jets, Giants, NFL Network. But there's going to be 3 other games going on at 7 p.m. So depending on where those end up, be it Fox, ESPN, NFL Network, I doubt you're going to be able to watch much. But the first one's the big one, in my opinion. Yeah. That's where you're going to have some reps from the starters, some reps from the 2s, and then you'll get into the 3s.
Yeah, so, I love to see how people handle Josh Allen, even if it's just for a little bit. I'd love to just see how they respond. Not sure if James Cook's going to be out there because he got a contract situation, so who knows? But yeah, all right. So
as far as I've heard, he will not be.
There you go. So they're gonna have to deal with the other guys. Ray Davis is not he's I don't think he's a starter in that regard, but he definitely 500 yards a season guy, and definitely a plug and play end zone dude. But okay, so. Week 2, we're playing Dallas. All right. On Fox. I might have a chance. To see that one. Not that I want to see the Dallas Cowboys in my TV set, but we'll see.
They love themselves some Cowboys on national television.
Oh, that's national. I'm not even in preseason. Told you how my day is going. I'm not even in the preseason. I'm in actual week 2. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, where you at? Okay, my bad. All right, so it's been that kind of day, man. So forgive me, guys. But 7:00, NFL Network, Giants and Jets should be on our television sets if you got NFL Network on week 2 of the preseason. So that's good. I get at least 2 straight weeks of watching the Giants. I don't even want to look at week 3. I don't even know what it's going to even be like. But
Patriots 8 p.m.
Who's covering it?
Probably NFL Network. Prime Video. It is Prime Video. It is one of 2 Thursday night games, so it will be available to you if you so desire.
I do so desire, and I will take them up on that.
preseason football, man. You're getting 2/3 of it essentially.
I get three Giant games for 3 weeks. I'll take that because I know that when the season starts, I'm about to go to my other sources because I know it's not gonna be my TV set. that part I know is really gonna be. I get Dolphins on this TV set for some reason. I don't know why. I get Saints because of Fox. Mm-hmm. I get the Steelers on CBS. I see more of those games than I see anything that got to do with the New York Football Giants. So I'm like, how am I gonna figure this out? I gotta go to my
again. Where are you?
South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. That's what I was thinking. Like, you're in the Carolinas. Why aren't you just getting the Panthers or even the Falcons?
I get them, but I don't get a steady dose of those anymore. But this whole market thing and the whole, I guess, blackout thing, whatever it is, I think that's playing a part because in years past, that's all I got. Falcons are on Fox, and the Dolphins will be on CBS anyways, and then the Panthers will be on Fox too. And I would get that steady dose of it. Now they got all this stuff mixed. I'm getting Browns games sometimes. I'm like, what in the world? So I don't know what they're doing out there. They ain't thinking about the regional fan who wants what they want, but it is what it is, man. But it's football, and we're excited about it, man. So let's jump into some of our topics for today. We don't have a whole lot because ain't a whole lot happening. Where you want to kick off, brother?
All right, let's start off with the news that came out today. Their unofficial depth chart that the Giants released. That it looks like it's going to be for Saturday specifically, and you can tell being that they don't have Andrew Thomas listed.
What?
He's still on PUP. He's not cleared for this weekend, so that'll be interesting. But no big surprises, in my opinion. We talked a little bit about this before we started recording. But for me, the fact that Jackson Dart is listed as their third string is not surprising in the slightest. I guess it's a little, I'm a little surprised, for a lack of a better way of putting it.
Are you?
Well, being that this is specifically for Saturday, so come regular season, I expect Jameis to be the number 2. If something happens to Russ, I expect them to turn to Jameis before Dart, especially early in the year with, the season still wide open in front of us. But for this weekend, I figured with how it sounds like a lot of the reps have been broken up in training camp, I had expected Dart, not expected, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, Dart's probably going to get those reps with the 2 they're going to want to see with him. But maybe this is just Russ is going to be in there for a couple drives. Jameis is going to be in there for a couple drives, and then Dart just plays the rest. Something like that. I don't expect we're going to see anything from DeVito. We shouldn't see anything from DeVito. Unless Dart comes out, just absolutely kills it against the other 2s and 3s, and we're up, 35-7 going into the 4th, something like that. Maybe then DeVito can get some snaps. But for me though, I guess right now my biggest surprise is that Marcus Bow is listed as the second string right tackle, not third, not behind Forsyth. He is ahead of Forsyth already. And, we signed Stone Forsyth to be one of our top backup tackles, to be one of the swing tackle options. And I am very pleasantly surprised to see Marcus Bow listed as, hey, second team, baby. Behind but yeah, again, otherwise, not a lot, in my opinion, here to really take. Banks or Flott is the only or listed here. But with Flott out with injury, it seems like it's just Banks is going to take over, that CB2 role. So.
Yeah, and we talked about that a good bit with the Flott injury because I didn't even catch the Flott injury. You shared that offline with us. But with that injury, kind of puts Bank in a spot. He probably going to be the CB1 anyways, even pre-injury. But he thought of it enough of it a race to not even name the CB2. So I guess with the injury, we'll see how that looks. But as far as Saturday goes, it's probably a safe bet that Flott's not going to be out there. So in regards to, man, there's kind of a few things I want to touch with this because I'm not really shocked by anything that I saw so far either. I think the thing that I'm kind of sitting here like, okay, I saw what happened with Marcus Bowe. I saw that, but I know that there's some numbers associated with Jermaine Illuminor's season last year that I know the Giants didn't care for. Just as far as pass rush win rate and some other numbers that they were talking about. So I feel like they got Marcus Bowe with the intention to take over. They got him and they were pretty high on him. I was too. He was on my draft board. That means anything. He was on my draft board. So I definitely wanted him to come in because I knew we needed O-line help. And it was clear even from last year that depth was an issue. So you got a guy that the Giants are going to love because he can play more than one position. Like you said, he had him bringing between the tackles. So he got an opportunity to kind of show that. I think it was earlier, a few days ago. He had a chance to start at left tackle, and I guess it must have went pretty well. He got about 6 reps out there. So, but I don't want to get ahead of us too much, but I like what I said. Just some concern about the whole AT situation, and we'll get to that in a minute. But with Dart, I don't know why we be shocked by that at all, really. Because I mean, I know that I'm concerned about his health because I know he's the future. I mean, everybody in the whole world knows he's the future. We talked about it a little bit last week before we closed out the show. I mean, he's the future, so it's like I love it to have some reps, but it's like, yeah, but when? You know, when is that going to happen? Preseason, the first week, I think unless something's changed, it's usually when you see a good bit of the starters, and you may not see them much at all after that. You might start seeing the second and third stringers in the next couple of weeks after this week. So that's when you're going to see Dart anyway. So that makes sense to me. Let Russ get some play out here, and then I guess some combination of Jameis and Dart going forward into the next couple of weeks of preseason. So it makes sense to me. I tell you right now, I was busy today, but I had a great attitude until I talked to a buddy of mine. I didn't know he was a Philly fan. So I actually had interviewed him for my other show today, for our flagship show. So I interviewed him, and he was giving me a hard time. I'd be watching him say, "Bill, get you." But he was talking about how the Giants are going to be a farm team for the Eagles. They already got 3 guys that I'm like, why would you kill what was an awesome interview? Why would you bring this negativity to me? I don't need this in my life right now. And then he went on and on talking about how Dart's going to be playing in week 9. I'm like, I don't want to hear any of this. Those are not ideal scenarios for anybody that's a Giants fan. I don't care how much you like Dart. I don't want to see him until the season doesn't matter anymore. And even then, I want him to be, on a account, if you will, because I doubt very highly that they gave Jameis a 2-year contract to sit behind Dart for a year. I don't think that's what they did. Why they did that? They thought that Dart needed some more time, and they wanted to give him all the time he needed. And if he overachieves, then great. We figured out the contract stuff on the back end. But and Russ, where he at in his career right now, I feel like this is a great opportunity to restart some legacy conversations. Put yourself back on the map. I mean, a great scenario is, you know what? Russ is being considered for another contract because he does that well. I'm not against that. Even though we got Dart in the first round, I'm not against that because anything that gives us positive momentum and helps us to grow as a team after the years that we've been having. How many years we talking about? What, 11, 12? Honestly, I'm good with that. So I'm not in a hurry to see Dart get thrown out there. I know there's some teams that have guys that they pick as their quarterback of the future, and they're rushing to get him out there. The Browns are probably in in that kind of place. I'm not there. So he can stay in the third. He can stay as a third string as long as needed. I'm totally fine with that. DeVito, I think he's playing for the next team he's going to be on. Unless he's going to be on the on the PS, but I don't know how long you can keep him there anyways. But no surprises for me from the depth chart. I want to see what Marcus Bowe does. I'm excited about him. I liked him coming into this draft, this year's draft, and I want him to take over. But when we get a chance, remind me about James Hudson III. I want to get into that once we get to the AT part of the conversation. But yeah, beside that, yeah, go Marcus Bowe. I'm rooting for you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, he was a guy that I had really wanted them to draft when I started seeing him fall in the draft. But there is some of the injury concern. There is a little bit, that he's playing light. So I didn't hear anything about him really for most of camp. And then all of a sudden, he started popping up a bit on my For You page on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, both.
Clips of him, him going up against Abdul Carter, him going up against Kayvon. And, again, you're not going to win every rep, but, the fact that he was even holding his own as well as he did, was a pleasant sight to see. He's another guy that's similar to Dart. I hope doesn't see playtime this year, because that means
really?
Yeah, I don't want to see Marcus Bowe this year, because that means something's wrong with AT or Jermaine Illuminor or who knows what, And so I want him to put some weight on, be in the gym every day. That's what I want to see from Marcus Bowe.
All right, let me help. Let me make a small case for Marcus Bowe playing sooner than later. We can't compare the quarterback situation. That's different. So we're going to scrap that. It's a whole different situation. I'm pretty unmovable on that point. I don't want to see Dart anytime soon. That means our season's going well if I'm not seeing him. That's what that means to me. But with the tackles, this is different because look what happened the past few years. Well, the past 2 years at least. But yeah, probably I guess the past 3 years is accurate with health. And with some of these guys that went down with injuries at key points in the season where we were, I guess, attempting to better ourselves. Why would you not want a young tackle I want Jermaine's spots to get taken. That justifies the draft pick that we made. And it says, you know what? We're moving into the future. I mean, Thomas is a part of the future. We're not seeing him right this minute, but we got high expectations he's going to be out there. And you got the younger, the better. I mean, GVR is 34. He is what he is. He's versatile. He can do a lot of things. And he's been probably one of the most stable guys on the line, health-wise and production-wise that we had last year. So I'm good with that part. But you wouldn't want a bunch of young tackles out there, fierce lions out there on the line fighting for it all. I mean, why would you not want that? Why not?
Because, well, as of right now, I don't think he's as good as Jermaine Illuminor. Like, despite the fact that, he's done seemingly better than expected in training camp, doesn't mean he's a better player than Jermaine Illuminor. Like, last year, Jermaine Illuminor, he wasn't Tristan Wirfs or Penei Sewell or anything, but he was a more than solid right tackle. Easily the best that we've had there for years. Andrew Thomas was an all-pro or borderline all-pro in 2022. His issue has been health. And we drafted Marcus Bowe to be on the right side of the line, if I'm not mistaken. At the very least, that's where we seem to be playing him, because right now, according to this depth chart for Saturday, the starting left tackle is going to be James Hudson. The backup left tackle is going to be Joshua Ezeudu, because for some reason we still refuse to put him at guard, even though he's a guard, and even there he's not exactly great. And then third string is Marcus Bowe on the left side. So that tells me that they're expecting that once we take the starters out, Marcus Bowe is going to be the starting right tackle for the rest of the game. And again, you're hoping to see some good stuff with him. But the only way, as of right now, I see Marcus Bow taking number 1 reps at right tackle this year in the regular season is if Jermaine Illuminor is injured. And obviously, you don't want to see that. I don't want to see that for any team. I don't want to see that for Giants players. I don't want to see that for Eagles players. If the Eagles are going to suck, I want it to be because they suck, not because a bunch of guys got injured. So I don't want, obviously, our guys to be injured. So it's not that I don't want the youth on the offensive line. It's just that, it's not like Marcus Bow was some first-round pick that we had, and, the expectation he's going to come in and be the starter. I think he was drafted, at least for now, to be a depth pick. So that's what I'm expecting.
They got him for more than that.
They got him.
Yeah, and they had. If you listen to folks in Giants camp, they got high hopes for this young player. They want him to take somebody's job.
I think they want him to, but I'm saying I do not expect at all that Marcus Bow is going to take Jermaine Illuminor's job over the course of the season. I would be ecstatic. We'll
watch.
Jermaine Illuminor has been playing well, but Marcus Bow is just better, and then he comes in and they're just immediately proven right. Just he's better. But as of right now, also, in terms of, getting the reps with the ones, Jermaine Illuminor is taking all those snaps. So Marcus Bow is going to need a lot of time, to get used to playing with GVR or even Evan Neal. Well, I guess not Evan Neal. I mean, Neal's been taking plenty of reps with the twos, and it seems like that's where Marcus Bow is. So, he's probably got some experience with Neal next to him, but, he doesn't seem to have any experience with GVR or anything. But, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not trying to make this a whole, argument about whether or not Marcus Bow is good. What did they draft him for? I think.
Are we arguing? I don't think we're arguing.
But we're having a little bit of a back and forth, and that wasn't I think we both want Marcus Bow to be this immense success. I want him to be Penei Sewell. I want him to be Tristan Wirfs. But I just don't see that happening, at the very least, not this year.
All right. What are your thoughts on James Hudson? Let's go ahead and jump into that, because I know that we're going to talk about Andrew Thomas a little bit at least. What are your thoughts on him? Because I know that he's a de facto starter in this situation. I know that he has all the potential in the world. I mean, 6'5", 313 pounds. I mean, he's a swing tackle at in the most general way possible. So it's kind of like, okay, so what are we expecting to see here? I don't know. I mean, for him, I guess, just to be a backup for Thomas if he doesn't get to start and be competent, or just be a backup when Thomas is ready to go and just have this guy being there. Or you're going to swing him over to the right side? I mean, I'm trying to just figure out what the plan's going to be with him. But what do you think about him just overall? When the pick came through, I said, okay, you know what? We need to have depth back there. There's no doubt about that. Having a swing tackle, it helps us because we've had injury issues that, we already talked about a few minutes ago. What's your feelings on James Hudson III?
I mean, they signed him in free agency to be a backup. Like, they knew that we couldn't have what happened last year happen again. That's why they went and they signed him and Stone Forsythe. I think James Hudson, he seems to be, bringing a very intense energy. If you just type in James Hudson into Google and you go to the news, all you're going to see is articles talking about, this guy's bringing a fire. He's bringing an intensity, to this camp. He's I was looking at one earlier and said, Giants' newest chaos agent is treating every rep like the bottom of the ninth. So you love to hear that. But at the end of the day, I think he is just that, a backup. I'm hoping Andrew Thomas has been healthy in his Giants career and played all games once. That was 2022 when he was looking like one of the best left tackles in all of football. The issue is the Giants haven't gotten that from him every year. After that, we signed him to an extension, and he's been injured. And this one that he's got, this Liz Frank injury, that's really bad for linemen. With the weight they carry, it causes issues.
Not good. Yeah.
I I don't want to, kind of be putting this out there, but
then don't do it then.
I have a feeling in one of the first 2 rounds of the 2026 draft, the Giants are going to have to draft a left tackle. And I hate to say it, but Thomas still isn't practicing. That being said, I think Hudson is a serviceable backup. I think the Giants, they went out and they spent this money for a reason. And I think he's going to be decent. For a backup. He's not a guy I want starting all 17 games for my team. But, if he has to come in and be the starter for a couple of weeks, so be it,
Yeah.
Future of eyewear.
This is not a pleasant conversation because we know that, when you have a team with this kind of history and I guess potential, hate to use this word with them, but unfortunately that's where we're at right now. We're looking at potential. Every guy that's young and under reasonable contract that can be a high producer, you want to get as many of those as you possibly can because that's how you build an NFL team. And the teams that have been doing it well, the teams that we may loathe, they've been doing it right, and to have a guy like him potentially not be healthy for his entire career in blue, it's like that's not what you want. So I don't know what the problem is or what's the reason for the injuries. I don't know if it's weight. I don't know if it's technique. I don't know what it is. But he's considered one of the best left tackles in the game. I don't know where he ranks at. I don't even want to see a ranking right now. That would just set me off. I don't even want to see that. So I'm just saying that I can safely say he's been considered one of the best left tackles in the game. I can say that comfortably without Googling anything. So to hear that he'll be going in the draft in 2026 to get the tackle, like that burns real good. I wanted to get a tackle. I even predicted it a little bit while we were in the last NFL draft. I said, man, next year we got to still fill up that tackle. And I still feel that way, but I just wasn't thinking left tackle. I was thinking something different. So this is a little bit scary. I mean, what's also scary is that, what if Marcus Bowe is your starting left tackle? It's not about competence and being able to play the game because Marcus Bowe can play the game, but I think it's replacing somebody who has the level of ability and potential that Andrew Thomas has, and him not be out there. I mean, we need him out there on that line. I believe that there was a number that I don't know if you mentioned a number or I read it someplace. I think you mentioned it last week. But either way, it's accurate. Where Andrew Thomas is on the field, where he's on the line, the old line is better by, and going back to the rankings again, forgive me, guys, because I don't even want to talk about rankings as long as I live. But they actually spot several spots better when Andrew Thomas is on the line. I don't know how many spots, but a good bit, a noticeable amount better when he's there.
What I had said, I forget the exact number, but when
Andrew Thomas, 5 or 6.
When Andrew Thomas was out there, the entire offense is about 4 points better, I believe. Like they're scoring a full 4 more points a game with Andrew Thomas out there. So I mean, that's more than a field goal. That wins how many 1-score games?
We had a lot of them last year. We had a lot of those last year.
Yeah, with just adding Andrew Thomas, like that's why I believe Andrew Thomas is the most valuable player on the team. Not Dexter Lawrence, not Malik Neighbors, not Brian Burns, or you would hope Abdul Carter. Andrew Thomas. That is how valuable he is to this team. But he can't stay healthy. I need to see it again. I need to see him play all 17 games, and I need him to be good in those 17 games for me to have confidence in him moving forward.
Okay. We didn't talk about this, so this is going to be on the fly. If we don't have an answer, that's fine. We can dig it up and we'll work on it next week. But Do we know this is Odell comes to mind, but it's different with him. Mm-hmm. But do we know why he's been injured so much? Is it something that is solvable? Because it's hard. I know it's not genetics. So is it something that's solvable? Is it a technique issue? Do we know if it's a weight issue? Too much? Too little? What are we talking about? Why is he injured so much? I mean, the guy of this level of talent and ability, do we know why he's injured so much?
I have no idea. Some of it, like 2023, it started with the hamstring. Then he had a knee injury. Like, so that was all soft tissue. 2021, he missed a couple weeks. He was dealing with an ankle, and then he had like the foot injury, I think it was.
Oh my goodness.
So now he's dealing with the Liz Frank injury. Let's see here. Yeah, he had to have surgery on the foot. Yes, it's been everything. I don't know what it is. For some guys, it just happens. Like the hamstring is a soft tissue injury.
I get that.
But
in the knee and on that turf, what you expect? Knee issue. I'm not surprised by the knee either. The knee and but the other stuff.
I don't think the knee injury was all that serious.
So what's we gotta find a way to keep him healthy. I don't know how you do that. This reminds me of some players in baseball that got hurt so much. I'm like, how can we help them? But this is what we need for him, because this is you say he's the most important player on the offense, I guess, and on the line at least. I can't argue that. We got to keep him upright. So I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah. Are we going to lament now on him being on the PUP list still? Are we going to like cry and stuff, or are we able to move on?
I think we can move on. The fact that he's still on the PUP list doesn't surprise me. I think they want to start getting him back into things going into maybe the final preseason game, but hopefully he'll be able to be practicing and be warmed up before week 1, because we need him for that.
Definitely. We need him for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. I can keep going. We need him for all. We need him for all of that. And just a quick update. We didn't mention it before, but Jermaine Luminor, he's in his final year of his contract. So I find it really hard to see them giving him a big bump and bringing him back. I find it hard to believe. So I think that's why Marcus Bowe is even on this team right now, because they already saw this part coming. So just a quick update and contract note there. We didn't get into it, but I heard something about Scatterbo having a setback. I didn't read it because I think I was scared, but heard he had a setback. I'm like, do you know about this? A setback is not a good thing for him to have a setback at all. We don't want to hear that. I mean, we need you, bro. Like right now, Devin Secretary is the RB2, and I don't know if I like that. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not that worried.
Okay.
I think it's just I do think it's like a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. I'm pretty
sure it's soft tissue. Just by little things that I see.
Yeah, hamstring. Bo Collins has also been sidelined due to
no.
But Scatterbo, I don't love it, obviously. Not happy about that whatsoever. But of all of the positions, running back was like, I mean, I guess this is why, you still have Singletary. It's not ideal. We had thought that they were going to kind of have the 1-2 punch going into the first preseason game, get a look at the Tracy and Scatterbo, like how are they going to be broken out? How's the carries going to be broken out, split up? But, this is one of those things. He's a running back. Again, I hate putting it like, but like we don't even know how good he is. Like It's not like Saquon when he was here, and when Saquon went down, we were worried about, okay, who can fill that role? We have Tracy, we have Singletary. We have the guys we had last year who were both solid producers, not elite, but solid. And, I want Scatterbo to just focus on getting better, see if he can get some reps in for next week. But for now, just focus on health.
Yeah, no worries on that one. I'm with you there. Some other injury update.
I'm not worried about him like I am Andrew Thomas.
No comparison anyhow. But yeah, Thomas Fedone got his barrel wrong. He got a concussion, so he's in the protocol. So he moved up in the depth chart in the past few days, which is like, okay, I don't know how that happened, but that's hopefully he's able to come out okay there and be able to rejoin the team and get back to work, because I really like him a lot to move up very, very high in that depth chart. We got a lot of questions that I think need to be answered. I'm one of those guys, if I see something it's negative about Daniel Bellinger, I'm usually jumping into the post, usually on Twitter or X. I'm jumping in there because I was a believer of his for a good bit, and I'm still willing to give him a chance. So Chris Manhurt and Dolchik and Terry II, those are guys I don't have any connection with, really. So it is what it is with that. I think they're going to be out
as a blocker. I like him.
Yeah, but is that what we need though? I need guys that catch passes and block. We need both. If you can do both, especially in 2 tight end sets, if we're going to be doing that, which I think we can do that.
Right now, it looks like Theo is the clear number 1. Bellinger, he's had a strong camp. Like we've talked about it. I don't know why they just went away from him the way that they did, but Bellinger seems to have had a strong camp. He's really solidified himself as the number 2 there.
Yeah.
Then they have Mannert, Dolchich, and then Fedone / Terry.
I want Fedone in that reserve spot, especially if they are running 2 tight ends. I want him in that reserve spot. I don't want him to get cut. I like him a lot. But that's a personal thing. Besides that, man, just about Andrew Thomas, they're expecting to get him ready for week 1. They enthusiastic about that. GBR is away on personal business. Besides that, man, it's just guys trying to get healthy. It looks like Evan Neal is trying to have a legitimate push for a starting job. I'm like, wow, who would have thunk it? But we got to spend no time if you don't want to, but that's just kind of funny to be sitting here talking about Evan Neal potentially starting and people being enthusiastic about it. It's like, that came out of nowhere. We were talking about him playing guard for I don't know how long. I know in my circles, I've been discussing that for a long time, and the Giants never even considered it, it looked like, at least not publicly, and now here we are. So what else we got left, man? I know there's not a whole lot on the Giants table right now, but what else we got left?
Yeah, let's just end things with a little bit of a what do we want to see on Saturday? Hoping to see here. For me, I'm most looking forward to Jackson Dart getting out there. I'm taking the easy out here.
Oh, come on. We already discussed that, man.
Well, here's kind of my a little bit of a best case scenario. What do
you want to see, man? What do you want to see him do? It's going to make you happy and come on the show and say, look what he did. What's he going to do?
The middle of the field. I want to see him have that middle game. Reports out of training camp, he's doing, we know he has good arm talent. That's one of the reasons we drafted him. He's a project with a good arm talent. He's been able to, throw the deep ball on the outside. He's, got the checkdowns, but he has struggled with decision-making and timing still. He's gotten better. He took what Dable said about him getting better every day very literally. And that's what he's really seemingly has done. But, one of the things that I want to see is he's in the pocket and, pressure's kind of coming in. Is he holding the ball too long? What is his decision-making like? Because that's really what we need. We know he's got the physical talents. Daniel Jones had the physical talents. But he's here. Can we see some improvement in live, real reps from Jackson Dart about that, and that is what I'm going to be watching for.
Okay, I can't change my mind. I'm already too far deep into this rabbit hole that we're in now. I don't want to see him this week. And
I'm sorry. You don't want to see Jackson Dart this week?
Oh,
in the preseason?
No, let DeVito go out there. No, I don't want to see that. Next week. I don't see it this week. Oh, thank you.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I am not following your logic there. The preseason is quite literally where we want to be seeing him play.
Yeah, but not the whole preseason. These guys, other guys need reps too. Russ, I want to see Russ with some reps. If the starters are going to be out there for week 1 for whatever.
They're only going to be out there for like a few drives.
Who told you that? Who told you that?
Every team. That's how every team's been doing it for years. The starters don't play a ton in the preseason. They never have. They've never played a lot of preseason.
In the past couple of years, those guys have been out there in the first preseason game, and in the fourth one, they've been out there a lot more than in recent years. But I'm not saying go out there and play a whole quarter, but I want Jameis out there. I want him out there a lot more. I mean, Jameis might not see any act. If things go well and theoretically the season is what we want it to be, he's not going to see a lot of action at all unless we got big leads and we sitting Russ down. So I want Jameis out there. I want to see what's going on with him too, because this is huge. If Russ has any problems, that's going to be our guy. So I want to see him a lot. I don't want to see Dart tomorrow. I mean, against the Bills, against Buffalo. I don't want to see that. I'm okay with Jameis and DeVito, whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. You are the first person I've ever heard hold that.
I'm unique. I'm unique.
Yeah,
and wrong too. Sometimes it's good though. I'm good with it though.
Look, from an injury potential perspective, obviously, anytime they go out there, I'm like, just don't get hurt. Just don't get hurt. Just don't get hurt.
That's what I'm concerned about that, because we haven't had this in quite a while. It's been a while since we had this. I'm not saying protect him and treat him with kid gloves. I'm not saying that. I want him out there in the preseason, but the very first game. Okay, no. Suppose for example that Dart plays the majority of this first week. Where do we go from there? Preseason week 2, preseason week 3. Where we going? DeVito for where we going? So
DeVito split reps. I think they want to use this time to really implement stuff for Dart, see where he's struggling. I think the preseason for a guy like Dart is much more about all right, what can you do? Like, what have you learned this summer? It's more of a test than like them being like, if you do well enough, you'll earn the second string job or something like that.
No, I'm with you, but just not. I guess I just don't feel that great about it in week 1.
Maybe they're going to lean more on Jameis than we think. I haven't seen. Maybe it's just just not seeing Jameis. I haven't seen him really. I've probably seen 2 throws that he made since he's had a Giants uniform on. I haven't seen him do anything. So I think I'd like to see a heavy dose of him in the first week, because this might be the most actually he sees all year if things go well. Week 2 and week 3. Heavy Dart. Then I guess we got to say DeVito too, because he's there. I don't know who else is available beside those guys. So yeah, but not. I just don't kind of want to see it in the first week. At least not a lot of him, anyways. I don't want to see Dart out there for quarters and stuff. I don't want to see that. Not yet. All right.
If he gets banged up, it's like, ooh, we're gonna be sitting on this show, with tissue.
Perspective there, man. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you ain't got to agree with what I'm saying. That's what makes the show good. You ain't got to agree with what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying what the Giants are gonna do. I'm saying I don't want to see a whole bunch of that man in week 1.
The man I want to see from on Saturday, the man I want to see the least from is Russ.
You will. In the last preseason game, you might see some of him. I don't know. I seen that last year. I seen guys. I think it was Josh Allen or somebody else. They were it was a whole bunch of starters that got some play in that last preseason game. I saw that on several teams. So you might see Russ again then, but that's fine. I won't see a lot of him either. I want to see more Jameis to see what's going on. See what you got, man, because you never know. We might need your help. So let's let him go ahead and air it out. See where he at. Because Russ is establishing rapport with a lot of these guys, but guess what? In preseason week 2 and week 3, how many first stringers you're going to see out there? So it just makes sense to let Winston and Dart have the crust of that time out there. But we'll see, man. I'm just want to make sure everybody stays healthy because we haven't fully accomplished that so far. We still doing injury reports every time we get on air. So it's still happening.
Yeah,
but
that's the best part about being a Giants fan. You always know there's going to be injury.
The best part. You sure that's the best part? Can you dig deep into the Giants bag and find anything better than that? To tell me that's the best reason for being a Giants fan? Do you have anything better than that?
As of right now, blind hope.
Blind hope. Yeah, that's what we're living off of right now. I'm gonna ask you one quick question, and we can go ahead and hit this music and get up out of here and let you get back to your night. Those pickups they made recently with the running backs and stuff, anything excite you there with those pickups?
I don't expect really
the end. Okay. Short answer.
I don't expect anything. I mean, we still already had Lobo on, so I don't think what is it? Jonathan Ward's really going to be doing anything. Maybe he'll get some work in with the third strings, but I'm not. I don't really have anything to add to that.
Oh, my chum, so glum. I got it. All right.
Glum, realistic,
We got excited to talk about some of this wide receiver depth chart. I want to get into this one of these days, man, because I'm like, we will
definitely have some to talk about. I'm very interested in that, but I want to wait till next week after we see who got the reps, who what was the production, when who are they working with, kind of stuff. I think that's going to be very telling for how the wide receiver depth chart breaks out.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about this, but we need some stuff to happen there. We can't do what we've been doing. We need somebody to break out in this place. I don't mean neighbors, and I ain't talking about Slay either. We need somebody to break out. We need more than one guy to break out there to make this. Because here's why I'm saying is that we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm getting so much heat from people about the Giants offense, and you know what? It's well deserved. We ain't been where we need to be. Everybody's saying, the defense is going to be fantastic. It might even be elite. I'm hearing all that stuff. That's great. Great attaboys and all that kind of stuff. But the offense is like, man, now you got a quarterback. We can't have the excuses. We need to have guys that can produce out there. And it's like, nobody's discussing this. I'm like, when are we going to talk about it? So I want to get into the wide receiver depth chart at some point, but we can kind of figure out in our pre-production how and when we're going to do that. But anything else for us, brother?
No, I think we covered about everything.
We sure did, man. But thanks for watching the Big Blue Lifers podcast. I'm Mr. U. That's Jess. We love the Big Blue Lifers podcast and the New York Football Giants, man. Check out our YouTube channel, Big Blue Lifers podcast on YouTube, man. And check us out on all the socials where you can find us, TikTok, X, everywhere. We out there.